is an invisible weight that almost everyone carries. It is not a handbag nor any tangible object, but a pressure that seeps into every moment of life. You wake up in the morning, the alarm rings, and instantly your mind is pulled into an endless list of things to do. Meetings are waiting, family responsibilities are waiting, unpaid bills are waiting, and dreams are being pushed into a hidden corner. You step outside, blending into the crowd, but inside you do not feel free because this unseen force presses down, forcing you to live according to its rhythm. No one can see it yet. You feel it in every heartbeat, in your hurried breath, in the eyes that no longer shine with the curiosity of youth. You've asked yourself countless times, is this the price of growing up? They told you that adulthood means carrying responsibilities, enduring pressure, learning patience in order to survive. But if you look closely, you will see a paradox. The more you grow up, the further you drift from the freedom a child once had, further from the belief that the world is limitless, that anything is possible. Instead, each day you wake up feeling like you exist inside an invisible box built by work, society, and the fears you created yourself. This invisible weight convinces you that you have no choice. You believe you must keep working endlessly, keep pushing yourself, keep chasing safety, because if you stop, you will lose everything. Yet the truth is, the faster you run, the more exhausted you become, and the more you try to control, the more you lose the ability to enjoy the present moment. The exhaustion does not come from what you do, but from the way you believe you are forced to do it. When your mind sees everything as an inescapable obligation, each step grows heavier, each success feels less meaningful, and even the smallest joys turn into luxuries. If you pause for a moment, you will see that this invisible weight does not come as much from the outside as you think it comes from within. You fear being judged, you fear not being enough, you fear losing what you have built. These fears are what bind you, not responsibility, not society, not other people. That is why you can spend your entire life searching for an escape outside only to return to the same place, because the real prison is not out there. It is in the way you perceive reality. What makes this invisible weight most dangerous is not its presence, but its familiarity. You have carried it so long that you can no longer distinguish between yourself and the pressure between freedom and chains. It becomes a way of living, a default mode. But that default is not absolute truth. It is only a collection of beliefs and emotions you have repeated over and over. You believe you cannot change. You believe this is your destiny, and that belief makes you live like a willing prisoner. If you look from the quantum perspective, you will see something fascinating. Reality is not fixed, it only reflects the state of your observation. If you observe the world through the lens of pressure, responsibility, fear, then life will continually appear as a burden. But if you shift the way you observe, reality will shift with it. That invisible weight is not an unchangeable fact. It is only a frequency you are resonating with. You can shift it, but first you must recognize that it exists. This does not mean you must abandon responsibility, quit your job, or deny family duties. It only means you can change the way you carry them. When you wear a backpack, the weight stays the same, but the experience changes depending on how you stand, how you breathe, how you balance your strength. Likewise, the invisible weight of life is not something you are doomed to suffer. It is something you can learn to carry more lightly. You can begin by observing yourself. Notice when your body stiffens, when your heartbeat rises, when your breath quickens. Each time you notice, slow down, inhale deeply, exhale longer, and ask yourself, does this weight truly come from the present or from a projection, a fear that has not happened yet? Many times you will realize the weight is not in the present, but in the scenarios you imagined. And the moment you see that, the burden immediately lightens. The invisible weight is not an enemy, it is a signal. It reminds you that you are living away from yourself, that you are resonating with a frequency of fear instead of a frequency of freedom. It reminds you that you need to tune yourself like an instrument that has gone out of tune, producing harsh sounds, but once the strings are adjusted, the melody becomes harmonious. You too can tune your energy to live differently. In this moment, you may still feel a heaviness in your chest, but understand this is not the essence of life. It is only a layer of fog covering your vision. When the fog lifts, the sky opens wide and you realize the weight never truly had power over you. It only had power when you did not recognize it. Once you see it clearly, its grip dissolves and you begin to step out of the invisible box you have lived in for so many years. This is the very first step of the silent shift. A shift that does not need noise, does not need dramatic destruction, only a recognition in stillness. And when that happens, a new chapter of life begins. Behind every pressure, behind the invisible burdens you carry each day, there is always a silent question you have never dared to face directly. It does not appear in meetings, it does not echo while you answer emails, it does not reveal itself as you rush through traffic. It only quietly arrives at night when you lie down and all outside noise fades away. That question is, what am I truly living for? For years, you have been accustomed to pushing it aside because you fear the answer would shake the entire world you have been building. You fear that if you admit you do not know your purpose, then all the sacrifices, all the years of hard work would seem meaningless. So you keep yourself busy, you fill your schedule, you bury yourself in financial goals, in professional titles, and convince yourself that one day at some peak of success, the question will resolve itself. But the truth is, the higher you climb, the clearer the question becomes, because no material height can cover the emptiness inside. Think back to a moment in your life when you achieved something you thought would bring lasting happiness. Perhaps it was a dream job, a new house, an expensive car, a long-awaited trip. For the first few days, the joy was radiant, but soon the excitement faded, and you returned to the same point, facing the same emptiness. That emptiness was not because you needed another goal, but because the silent question had still not been answered. What am I truly living for? The modern world encourages you to believe this question is unnecessary. It tells you to keep working, keep contributing, keep building your image, and eventually you will feel fine. But if you look closely, you will see millions living the same rhythm, wearing the mask of success, but in their eyes, the fatigue and disconnection are obvious. They dare not stop to ask, because stopping means facing, and facing is frightening. They choose to keep walking, but each step grows heavier. The interesting thing is, when you actually allow yourself to ask the question, does not destroy you, it begins to open a door. Because this question does not only expose uncertainty, it reminds you that you have the ability to seek a higher meaning. Just as an electron in the quantum world can exist in many states at once, so can you exist in many possible ways of living. The question itself is proof that you are not fixed in one possibility, that your reality can still shift, that you still have the right to choose a new path. If allowed to surface, this question can shake your entire self-image. You may realize that for years you have not been living for yourself, but for the expectations of others, for the rules of society, for the fear of being left behind. You chase success to prove something. You keep the cycle turning so as not to appear weak. You cling to roles because you fear losing value. And if all those layers are stripped away, what remains is emptiness, a silence that feels uncomfortable, but also a silence that is truth. In that silence, you will see you have never really paused to choose. You have only been swept along. What am I living for is not a question that needs an immediate answer. It is a reminder that you need to begin observing yourself again. Do not fear the emptiness, because in quantum science, the vacuum itself is full of hidden energy. In the silence of your soul, potential is also waiting to unfold. You may think, I do not have time for philosophy. I have work and responsibilities. But ask yourself, if you spend your whole life chasing without knowing what you live for, then what exactly are you trading your life for? This question does not deny the value of work, nor does it ask you to abandon responsibility. It only reminds you that those things have meaning only when they are tied to a reason beyond themselves. Work can be a vehicle, money, a tool, recognition, a reward, but none of these are the ultimate reason for your existence. To live for something is the question that reminds you of the truth that you are the observer. Reality is not fixed, it depends on how you look. If you see your life only as a chain of duties, you will see burden. If you see your life as a journey of discovery, you will see opportunity. The question forces you to choose: will you continue observing life through the old lens, or will you dare to shift your perspective? Each time you let this question echo, it is like a signal, a light piercing the dark. At first, the light may feel uncomfortable because it exposes what you have been hiding. But that light also offers the chance to step out of the darkness. You do not need a perfect answer right away. You only need to allow the question to exist, because in its existence, energy has already begun to move. And perhaps it is when you stop demanding an instant answer that you realize the act of asking is already part of the answer. When you face the question directly, you are no longer a prisoner of unconscious cycles. You become an active observer. And from that moment, reality begins to change. This is the essence of the hidden question. It does not come to destroy you, it comes to awaken you. It is not an enemy, it is an invitation. An invitation to step out of the endless cycle. An invitation to look deeper into the nature of existence. An invitation to remember that you are not here only to survive, but to create a reality worthy of the energy you carry. Reality is not a block of stone waiting for you to crash into. It is more like a mirror that constantly reflects the state of your observation. In quantum physics, this is called the observer effect, when a particle can exist in multiple states at once until an observation occurs. And that very act of observing makes the particle choose a specific state. You might think this is only an odd experiment in a lab, a strange phenomenon of the microscopic world. But if you pause and look closely at daily life, you will see it mirrors exactly the way you are living. When you observe the world with tense eyes, when you believe everything around you is a threat, when you believe tomorrow only brings more burden, then reality will appear exactly that way. Not because the world is inherently dark, but because you are resonating with the frequency of that darkness. On the other hand, when you begin to observe the same event with a different state of mind, you will see the picture change. A problem can become an opportunity to learn. A failure can turn into a stepping stone for growth. A pain can become a teacher. The world has not completely changed, but the way you look opens different doors. The observer effect is not only a scientific concept, it is a powerful metaphor for the truth that you play a role in shaping the reality you live in. Every belief, every emotion, every expectation you carry are continuous observations sending signals into the field of energy, and reality responds to those signals. Think back to a morning when you woke up heavy and gloomy, and the whole day seemed to be trouble after trouble. People around you were harder to deal with, and you ended the day drained. But there are also days when, for no big reason, maybe a smile, a song, or a moment of gratitude, the entire day flowed. Easily events were the same, but you felt peaceful. That is not coincidence, that is reality reflecting your state of observation. The issue is that most people are unaware of which lens they are observing from. They live in automatic mode, reacting to whatever appears without ever stopping to ask, from where am I observing this? That unconsciousness convinces them that the world is fixed, that they have no choice, that misfortune is inevitable. But when you pause to recognize that you are the observer, that the beliefs you hold determine how reality takes shape, then a new space opens. You are no longer only a victim dragged through events. You become the creator of your own experience. The observer effect does not ask you to instantly paint a perfect reality. It only asks you to become aware of your perspective. Each time you shift the way you observe, you shift the entire energy state you are transmitting. Like changing the lens on a camera, the scene is still there, but the frame, the light, the colors appear completely different. You do not need to change the whole world. You only need to change how you see, and the world will answer. Many still doubt that life can shift simply by observing differently. But notice how those who look at life with optimism and belief tend to generate more positive outcomes, not because they are luckier, but because that state of observation makes them act differently, choose differently, attract opportunities others miss. When you believe you can overcome, you find a way. When you believe everything is against you, you only find more proof to support that belief. In simple terms, this means the world is not operating like a movie already filmed, where you are forced to watch. It operates like live music, where each note is shaped by how you listen and participate. You can create harmony, or you can allow noise to dominate. It all depends on the state of observation you carry. You need to understand that observation is not just with your eyes, it is your entire state of consciousness. You observe through your emotions, your memories, your beliefs, the stories you tell yourself. If the story you believe is, I am never enough, I always have to struggle, I will be left behind, then reality will faithfully reflect that script. But if the story you begin to tell is, I have the right to choose how I live, I can shift my frequency, I can find peace even in chaos, then reality will reflect new possibilities. This is not mystical magic. It is the intersection of science and human experience. Because in every action you take, you act from the state you are in. Acting from fear is completely different from acting from trust. Deciding under pressure is completely different from deciding from clarity and peace. And those differences generate a chain of different outcomes. The observer effect, when understood deeply, is a reminder that you have the power to choose how you show up in life. You cannot control every event that happens, but you can control the perspective you bring to those events. And that perspective very naturally shifts the very nature of the experience you call life. So if today you still feel an invisible weight pressing down, ask yourself, from where am I observing? If you feel lost, try shifting the lens. Just a small shift in how you see, and the whole picture changes. That is the first step into a new reality where you are no longer a prisoner but an awakened observer. Humans always crave control, and that craving itself is the most discreet cage we lock ourselves into. From childhood, you were taught to hold tight, to cling to control life, or else be swept away. And so you grow up with a mindset always ready to resist, always tense to not lose what you have. But notice, the more you try to control, the more life slips through your hands. Like trying to hold a fistful of sand, the tighter you squeeze, the faster it flows out. And in the end, you are left only with emptiness and fatigue. The prison of control is not built with bars of steel, but with fears and illusions. You believe that if you do not control everything, chaos will drown you. You believe that if you do not control others, they will hurt you. You believe that if you do not control yourself harshly, you will lose your way. These beliefs may bring a sense of safety at first, but over time they turn you into a prisoner of your own fear, because the safety you think you achieve is only an illusion. You can see this most clearly at work. You try to control every detail, every number, every step of your colleagues. You think this will bring perfection, but what rises is more stress, broken relationships, and vanished creativity. Or in the family, you try to control loved ones for fear they will make mistakes. You think you are protecting, but in truth you are stripping away their freedom and at the same time losing your own peace. Control is like a mask appearing firm on the outside, but exhausted within. From the quantum perspective, absolute control is impossible. Reality is inherently a set of countless possibilities, always vibrating, always changing. You cannot freeze it into one fixed state. To try is to resist the nature of the universe. That is why every attempt at total control only leaves you drained. What you can do is not control, but choose how to show up. Like a surfer, he cannot control the ocean, but he can choose how to stand on the board, how to balance, how to enjoy the flow. The problem is we were never taught to trust the flow, only to fight it. And in that fight, you lose your vitality. You become someone who lives by reaction, always chasing circumstances, always tense to hold on. And in the end, you forget that life was never meant to be owned, it was meant to be experienced. The greatest pains you have felt did not come from what you let go, but from clinging to what no longer fit. Remember the times you let something go. It might have been a relationship, a job, an old belief. At first, you were afraid, you thought you would collapse. But once you crossed through, you felt lighter, you felt space open, you felt life expand. That moment was proof you do not need control to survive, you only need trust to continue. And it is that trust which brings true strength. The prison of control makes you forget you are part of a larger field of energy. When you try to control, you separate yourself from the flow, you build walls, you limit your own potential. But when you release, when you allow uncertainty, you reconnect with the entire field. And in that space, unexpected possibilities can appear. Like the particle in quantum experiments, only when it is not forced into one state can it oscillate among infinite potentials. You are the same only when you release control. Can you access possibilities you could not see before? You may ask, so should I let go of everything? The answer is no, because letting go does not mean giving up. Letting go only means you stop exhausting yourself trying to hold what cannot be held, and instead focus on what you can shift, which is how you show up, how you observe, how you act from peace instead of fear. Control comes from fear, while conscious choice comes from trust. Between those two lies the difference between a life in prison and a life of freedom. Try observing yourself today. When you feel tense, ask, what am I trying to control? When you feel tired, ask, does this fatigue come from the work itself or from trying to control too much that was never mine? The answer will show you more clearly than any philosophy how you have locked yourself in the prison of control, and only when you see it can you unlock it. The paradox is that when you release control, you do not lose power. You gain more strength. You become flexible, creative, resilient. You no longer react from fear. You act from clarity. And in that clarity, you connect with larger currents, with opportunities you had never imagined. You step out of the prison and you see that outside is not chaos, but a universe expanding, waiting for you to join. There is a truth that modern science is moving closer to, yet the human mind still seems unready to fully embrace it, that consciousness is not limited to the brain. Consciousness is not a byproduct of neural signals. It is a field of energy that surrounds, connects, and permeates everything. If you think of yourself only as a physical body, you will see yourself as small and fragile. But if you begin to realize you are part of a vast field of energy, you will understand that every thought, every emotion, every vibration you carry radiates far beyond what the eye can see. You do not simply live in a physical world, you are living in an ocean of energy. And that very field of energy is reflecting you back in every experience. Think of those moments when you walked into a room and immediately felt heaviness even though no one said a word, or when you met a stranger but felt safe and trusting within seconds. Those perceptions did not come from words or actions, but from the energy people emit. In the same way, you are also emitting energy every day, and that energy does not vanish. It influences others, It shapes situations. It even plays a role in the events of your life. If you carry a field of tension, you will see chaos around you. If you carry a field of peace, you will notice harmony seeping into your experiences. This field of energy is not some vague idea. It has a basis in both neuroscience and physics. Your heart generates a magnetic field many times stronger than your brain, and its rhythms can be measured. When you feel gratitude, love, or calm, the rhythm of the heart becomes coherent and the field you emit becomes coherent with it. When you worry, fear, or feel anger, the rhythm turns chaotic, and so does the field. The universe does not respond to the words you say, it responds to the frequency of energy you send. You can say you are fine, but if your field radiates tension, reality will mirror back tension. Understanding this, you begin to see that the reality you experience does not come mainly from outside circumstances, but from the frequency of energy you align with. When you change your inner state, you change the entire field you emit, and reality begins to shift accordingly. That is why someone who lives in gratitude feels life is abundant, while someone focused on lack sees only more lack. Reality does not favor one over another. It only reflects honestly the energy they transmit. The important point is you cannot fake it. You cannot mask your energy with positive words while carrying doubt inside. The universe does not hear what you say. It reads the frequency you radiate. If you want life to change, you must change your inner energy. This does not mean you must always pretend to be cheerful. It means you learn to observe the energy you are carrying and consciously adjust it. When you realize you are resonating with fear, you can pause, breathe deeply, reconnect with peace, and send out a new signal. The field of energy is like a great mirror. If you want to see a different image, you cannot break the mirror. You can only change what you bring before it. Reality works the same way. It does not change because you resist or complain. It changes when you shift your energy. And energy does not shift through force. It shifts through awareness and reconnection. Recall a moment in your life when you were fully at ease with no worries, maybe while watching a sunset, listening to music that touched your soul, or looking at the smile of someone you love. In that moment, you were not controlling, not forcing, you were simply present, and the energy you radiated was harmony. Reality in that moment also became harmonious. That is proof of how your energy field shapes experience. If you want life to change, begin by observing your own field of energy. When you feel tense, do not only ask what is happening outside, ask what frequency is radiating from within. When you encounter luck, remember it is not random. It is the universe responding to the energy you are sending. When you live with this awareness, you no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstance. You become a co-creator with the universe. The field of energy is not confined to you. It connects you with all. Every thought, every emotion you choose affects not only yourself, but the collective field humanity shares. When you emit fear, you add heaviness to the collective field. When you emit peace, you help lighten it. And here you see that every small act of yours is never meaningless. It is part of a larger picture. And once you understand that you are a field of energy, living in an ocean of energy, you no longer see life with helplessness. You begin to see you have the power to choose, the power to shift, the power to create. Every limit you once believed in was only an illusion, because energy is never lost, it only transforms. And so do you. You can always transform. There are moments in life that you cannot arrange, cannot predict, and certainly cannot control. These are the moments when everything seems to collapse, but from that very collapse, a new door suddenly opens. People call it a turning point, an awakening, but in truth, it is simply the moment you let go of forcing control and allow a different reality to appear. This moment may come through a crisis when you lose something you thought was everything, or through silence when you suddenly realize you do not need to keep running anymore. Imagine a man who spent his life climbing the ladder of success. He gathers wealth, builds reputation, yet deep inside he still feels empty. One day an event strikes betrayal, financial ruin, or illness. The fortress he built crumbles in an instant. At first it looks like tragedy, but within the tragedy he is forced to stop. And in that pause, he sees something he never saw before, that the value of life is not in how much he controls, but in his ability to be present and connect. That realization is the breakthrough, the shift of frequency, the door into a new reality. What makes the breakthrough powerful is the contrast. When you have gone too far down the old road, when you are drained from the cycle of control and fear, collapse is not an ending, it is liberation. Like a string pulled too tight, only when it snaps does it return silence to the space. The breakthrough never happens while you are still forcing it, only comes when you have no strength left to resist, when you must release. And that release carries you to a new level of awareness. Quantum science gives us a perfect metaphor for this. An electron never jumps to a higher orbit unless it absorbs enough energy to cross the threshold. In the same way, a person never shifts reality until they have felt enough pressure to force the transition. Breakthroughs do not come from comfort, they come from crisis. But in crisis, the potential for a new state is revealed. Think back in your life a moment you thought you could not rise, but from it you became stronger. Perhaps it was losing a job, the end of a relationship, or the grief of loss. At that time, you felt the whole world against you. But looking back, you see those very events opened a new chapter, bringing you to places you never imagined. A breakthrough is not magic. It is the shift in how you observe, from victim to observer, from bound to free. Breakthroughs can also appear in simple things. Walking one day and suddenly feeling you have nothing to prove. Sitting in silence and realizing life is not a race, it is an experience. These moments are not loud or grand, yet they change your path entirely. Others may not notice, but inside you a new reality has begun. You must understand, breakthroughs do not always arrive naturally. They often come when you have reached the limit of the old way of living. That limit is the invitation to change. You can resist, cling, or you can release and step into the new. When you release, you align with a greater field of energy where possibilities you never imagined begin to appear. Another truth is that breakthroughs do not come to destroy you, they come to return you to what is real. In crisis, the false layers fall away and you have no choice but to face yourself. In that facing, you discover true strength. It is not the strength of control, it is the strength of connection to the field of energy within and around you. Imagine a river. You are used to swimming against it, using all your strength to hold control, but at some point you tire, you let go. And when you let go, you find the river does not drown you, it carries you, lifts you forward. That is the essence of breakthrough. It does not bury, it frees. And once you experience it, you never see life the same again. A breakthrough is the reminder that life is not built by strain, but by alignment. It reminds you that you are not alone. You are not carrying the world on your shoulders. You only need to choose how to show up and trust. When you live with that trust, you no longer chase breakthrough, because every moment can open into awakening. And when you truly go through a breakthrough, you realize it was not the world outside that changed, it was you. The way you see, the way you feel, the way you are present. And when you change, reality changes. A breakthrough is not an outer miracle. It is the inner miracle activated when you let go and allow life to guide you. Humans have long been accustomed to dividing two worlds. One side, science, cold, precise, built on numbers and formulas. The other side, spirit, abstract, emotional, rooted in belief and inner experience. But the truth is they are not separate. They are two perspectives of the same reality. As science delves deep into the nucleus of matter, it touches a truth. Sages spoke of thousands of years ago that everything is connected by an invisible field, that consciousness is not outside the universe but part of it. In quantum experiments, scientists found that particles can exist in multiple states at once, and only when observed do they settle into a specific position. This is not just a strange lab phenomenon, it is a strong hint that consciousness plays a role in shaping reality. Scientists may call it the observer effect. Spiritual teachers may call it creation by mind, but both point to the same truth. Reality reflects the state of consciousness. Likewise, modern neuroscience has shown that the brain is not fixed. It constantly rewires, creating new connections based on experience and belief. This means when you change your way of thinking, you reshape your own biology. Practices like meditation, prayer, or gratitude are not just spiritual rituals, they act on the nervous system and the heart, creating coherence between the two and influencing the field of energy you emit. Science calls this coherence, spirit calls it harmony, but the essence is the same. When you breathe deeply, slowly, and focus on gratitude, your heart rhythm becomes ordered, and instantly your brain responds by producing alpha and theta waves, relaxing the body and clarifying the mind. In that moment, you are not only comfortable, you are radiating harmony, and the universe reflects harmony back in your circumstances. This is not vague belief. It is a mechanism measurable by instruments. Yet if you stop at science alone, it feels dry. If you stop at spirit alone, it feels groundless. Only when you combine both do you touch the whole truth. Science gives language measurement proof. Spirit gives meaning, experience, connection. When science and spirit meet, you realize you are not just a physical body living a few decades. You are a field of consciousness experiencing itself in an endless ocean of energy. Many still cling to the belief that science and spirit oppose each other. But remember, true science never denies it expands. Each time science meets a boundary, it does not say something does not exist. It says we cannot yet measure it. And many things once spoken only in the language of spirit are now confirmed by science. The power of the mind on the body, the coherence of heart and brain, the strength of positive emotion. What does this mean for you? It means the practices you once thought of as only spiritual actually have a solid scientific base. When you meditate, you are not just calming your mind, you are rewiring your brain. When you practice gratitude, you are not just feeling lighter, you are synchronizing your heart and your energy field. When you release, you are not only feeling emotion, you are aligning with the fluid nature of the universe. Conversely, science without spirit is barren. It provides tools but no meaning. A person may understand neural mechanisms, but without connecting to the heart, they feel empty. A person may study energy, but without experiencing peace, they remain in theory. Science explains the how, spirit gives the why, and humans are only whole when they hold both. Notice that in the moments you feel most deeply connected, it is usually when science and spirit merge. For example, when you look at the night sky, stars are giant spheres of gas, millions of years old, that is science. At the same time, you feel awe, reverence, and the sense that you are part of something vast, that is spirit. Both coexist, both enrich the experience of being alive. If you want to step into a new reality, you must allow science and spirit to meet in your life. Do not deny one to keep the other. Use science to understand mechanism. Use spirit to experience meaning. When you practice breathing, know that you are guiding your body into coherence, and at the same time, feel it as a bridge into the universal field. When you sit in silence, know that your brain is rewiring, and at the same time feel the peace as part of existence itself. This meeting not only makes you stronger, it makes you whole. You no longer choose between reason and heart, between logic and faith. You become the one who unites both, And in that union, you rise into a new awareness. Science says energy is never lost, it only transforms. Spirit says your soul never disappears, it only changes form. Do you see both are speaking of the same thing? When you grasp this truth, you no longer see life in division but in unity. And in that unity, you find the real strength to live differently. Knowing is one thing, but living by that knowing is another. Many people read dozens of books, listen to hundreds of talks, yet when they return to daily life, they fall into the same loop, still tense, still reacting by habit. Knowledge without practice stays in the mind. It cannot shift energy and it cannot reshape reality. If you truly want to step into a new reality, you need to create a practical shift, not through grand, unreachable actions, but through small, consistent, conscious habits. This is the practical shift where knowing becomes lived experience. One of the most powerful practices is the breath. It sounds simple, yet breath is the bridge between body and consciousness, between matter and energy. When you breathe shallow and fast, you send signals of fear. The body reacts as if in danger. The heart races, stress, hormones flood. When you breathe slow and deep, you send signals of peace. The body immediately synchronizes, the heart steadies, the brain clears. So each time you feel caught in the spiral of worry or anger, pause, inhale, slowly hold for a few seconds, then exhale twice as long as you inhaled. This simple act can instantly shift the frequency you emit, and with it, the experience you are having. Another practice is observation. Most people live in reaction. Events happen and they react with familiar emotions. If someone speaks harshly, they react with anger. If a plan fails, they react with disappointment. But if you learn to observe before reacting, you notice a gap. In that gap, you realize you can choose differently. You can choose not to let the words touch you. You can choose to see failure as learning. You can choose to respond from peace rather than fear. Each time you observe instead of react, you shift your energetic circuit, and that shift creates a new reality. Gratitude is another practice. Gratitude is not just a mental state, it is a powerful energetic tool. When you truly feel gratitude, your heart radiates harmony, influencing your brain, your body, and even your environment. Start your morning by thinking of 3 things you are grateful for, not grand, just genuine. Gratitude for a meal, a friend, the morning light. Feel it in your heart, not just in your head. If you keep this habit, you will notice your day flows differently with a higher frequency and more positive experiences appear. You also need to practice letting go of what no longer fits. Each day you carry not just work and duties, but also memories, wounds, fears. These are like stones in your backpack, making your journey heavy. Letting go does not mean denying, it means allowing them to leave. You can write down what weighs you, then close your eyes and imagine it dissolving like smoke in the wind. This signals your subconscious that you are ready to release freeing energy for lighter steps forward. Presence is another vital practice. Humans often live in past or future, rarely in the now. The past pulls you with regret, the future pulls you with worry, but the now is where your power lies. Whenever your mind drifts, bring your focus back to one detail of the present. Your breath, a sound around you, a sensation in your body. Just seconds of presence pull you out of unconscious loops and back into your true power. The key is consistency. One deep breath will not change your life, but daily conscious breathing reshapes your energy. One note of gratitude feels good, but daily gratitude shifts your whole field. One moment of observation calms you, but steady practice rewires your patterns. Transformation is not from one miracle moment, but from thousands of small, steady moments. Imagine tuning an instrument. Each practice adjusts one string. At first it may sound off, but with repetition, harmony emerges. Your body and mind need the same tuning to resonate with the universal field. And when you are in resonance, life flows without strain. The beauty is you do not need to change the world to feel difference. You only change yourself. Each conscious breath shifts energy. Each choice to observe instead of react shifts frequency. Each act of gratitude shifts reality. Small changes, but their resonance creates great movement. And you will see this practical shift not only makes your life lighter, it makes you a light for others. When you live in peace, you radiate peace. When you live in gratitude, you radiate gratitude. When you live in presence, you invite others to return to. Now, your field does not just change you, it changes the world you touch. There are victories that need no cheers, no fireworks, no one standing beside you applauding. These are victories born in silence, where only you witness yourself, where reality shifts, not through some outer shock, but through a subtle movement within. Such victories are quiet yet lasting because they do not depend on the gaze or approval of others. They come from the fact that you have truly shifted your frequency. You will know you are experiencing a silent victory when one day you realize the things that once tightened your chest no longer weigh on you the same. Perhaps in the past, a judgment would steal your sleep for many nights, but now you simply smile and let it pass. Perhaps before, a small failure would drown you in worthlessness, but now you see it as only a lesson. The outer event is the same, but your inner energy has changed, and in that change you feel a lightness nothing external can give. A silent victory shows itself when you are no longer pulled blindly by unconscious habit. You no longer react instantly to unfavorable situations. You pause, you observe, and you choose a different response. Each time you choose awareness over reaction, you win over yourself. No one else may see it, but it is the truest victory because it proves you are no longer a prisoner of the past. You are master of the present. The special thing about silent victories is they do not impress right away, but in looking back, you see they have reshaped your life. Each time you grow calmer, more grateful, more present, you are building a different reality. At first, no one notices, but slowly they sense the change. They see you steady in turbulence, clear when others are lost. And in that moment, you become living proof of a new way of being. Science calls this neuroplasticity. Each time you choose a new response, your brain forges a new pathway. At first, fragile, but with repetition, it strengthens. Eventually, the new response becomes habit, no effort needed. It is now part of you. This is why lasting change does not come from explosive resolutions, but from small victories repeated in silence. Spirit calls it gradual awakening. You do not become an entirely new being overnight, but in each moment of awareness, each moment you remember you are the observer, each moment you choose peace over fear, you move closer to union with your true nature. And when these moments accumulate, they create a flow that cannot be reversed. Silent victories are unique because they cannot be taken away. A title can be stripped, a role replaced a compliment, forgotten, but an inner change cannot be touched. It becomes rooted in you, carried into all circumstances. No matter the chaos outside, you stand on steady ground. Imagine yourself as a mountain. The surface faces winds, rain, storms, but the core remains unmoved. When you reach silent victories, you become that mountain. Outwardly, you still live, work, love, face challenges, but inwardly you carry an unshakable strength. And that strength comes not from controlling everything, but from alignment with a harmonious field of energy. Strangely, when you carry silent victories, you never need to boast, yet others feel it. They sense calm in your eyes, certainty in your voice, warmth in your presence. You need not convince, your energy speaks. This is the power of victory without words, a quiet force that touches hearts. If you are on the path of change, do not wait for a grand miracle, seek small victories. Each morning, you begin with gratitude that is a victory. Each time you breathe instead of rage, that is a victory. Each time you release an old fear, that is a victory. And when you have gathered enough, you will look back and see how far you have traveled. Silent victory also teaches that you need not compare yourself to anyone. You need not prove you go faster, achieve more, win more praise. You only need to know today you are more peaceful than yesterday, more awake than yesterday, and that is enough. For this journey is not a race, it is a return to your true nature, where you have always been whole. And when you live in silent victories, you notice change not only in yourself, but in how you move through the world. You judge less, rush less, love more. You no longer need to prove your worth because you know it does not depend on outer eyes. And in that freedom, you discover a deep joy, a liberation no condition can bind. Silent victories are not born of perfection, but of patience. They do not demand you change everything at once, only that you choose rightly in each moment. And those moments together create a transformation that cannot be reversed. This is the essence of quantum shift, where a small change in state leads to a leap in reality. Every journey has an ending, but at that very ending, another door opens. When you have carried the invisible weight, faced the hidden questions, seen through the observer effect, recognized the prison of control, stepped into the field of energy, experienced the breakthrough, allowed science and spirit to meet, practiced small shifts, and tasted silent victories, you realize all of it was not only to change how you live, but to remind you that a deeper call is waiting. This call does not come from outside, not from society, not from expectations. It comes as an echo from within your soul, a reminder that you are not here just to run in circles, but to awaken consciousness and live as an inseparable part of the universe. This call is not loud. It does not command. It only whispers in quiet moments. When you sit in the still of night and feel an unexplainable peace, when you look into the eyes of a child and realize that innocence is what you have forgotten, when you stand before nature and feel small yet connected to something vast, these moments are not accidents. They are reminders that it is time to step out of the shell and live more fully. The deeper call does not ask you to abandon everything. It asks you to change how you show up. You do not need to leave work, family, or duty. You only need to bring a different frequency into them. When you work from peace instead of anxiety, work becomes creation. When you love from freedom instead of control, family becomes nourishment. When you are present in each moment instead of chasing past or future, life becomes a miracle. The deeper call reminds you that what you seek is not outside, it is in how you live in each breath, each glance, each choice. The truth is, you do not need perfection to answer, you only need readiness. The universe does not demand sainthood, it asks honesty. Each time you choose peace over fear, you answer. Each time you choose gratitude over complaint, you answer. Each time you choose presence over unconsciousness, you answer. And when you answer, the door opens wider, new possibilities reveal themselves, and you step into a reality where you no longer live in limits but in union. Science says every particle is linked in a common field. Spirit says every soul belongs to the whole. When you answer the deeper call, you live not only for yourself, you resonate with the collective field. Each vibration you emit shapes the shared reality of humanity. When you are at peace, you contribute peace to the world. When you are free, you inspire others to release chains. When you live fully, you prove another way of being is possible, and perhaps this is the true purpose of your journey. Not to become someone praised by society, not to reach a title, but to live as living proof that reality can always change. That humans are not trapped in fear and control, but can freely create a reality that reflects their highest frequency. This is the greatest victory. No stage, no audience, only harmony between you and the universe. Imagine a day when you wake not with heaviness, but with a light eagerness. You are no longer ruled by fear of control. You trust the flow. You no longer seek outside validation. You know your worth within. This is not a far dream. It is a possibility waiting for you to align. And you can begin now in this moment simply by answering the deeper call. The call does not ask if you are worthy. It asks if you are ready. And if you are hearing these words, perhaps you are ready. Ready to step out of the fog, ready to see with new eyes, ready to live as part of the infinite field. This is not the end, it is the beginning of a journey where each step you take proves that humans can live differently, deeper, freer, more harmoniously. Let the deeper call echo in your heart and let it guide you not to another place, but back to where you have always belonged, where you and the universe are, not